Welcome to Fire and Ice, a show about controversial topics. I'm Sevag Tateosian, also known as Ice, the cold one.
And I'm Lorenzo, Neal, also known as Fire, the hot one.
Today's topic that we are going to be talking about is athletes. Should they come out with their sexual preferences or no? Fire. You have an athlete, great player, made him or herself into professional ball, whether it's football, basketball, whatever. Why should we care what their sexual preference is? Why do they even need to come out? It's irrelevant for me.
Yeah, I don't think we should care either. I think the reason why people come out, I think that they want to express themselves in a way to say, look, this is who I am. This is my sexual preference, and I want others to know, because there might be others that feel that way, and maybe they want to make them feel that they're not alone. And so I think the reason why they come out is for those reasons.
But it has nothing to do with their athletic ability. It has nothing to do with if it's a basketball player. It has nothing to do with how many points they can score, how fast they run, how high they jump. Who cares? Why even bring it up? Why even go to the media with it? Why even cause a circus with it? There are other things that the media should be covering, not some athlete who decided to say, oh, this is my preference. Who cares?
Well, I don't think that, if you look at it, I think when athletes come out and say that talk about their sexual preference, whether they're gay, lesbian, I think that they don't necessarily come out to cause the media circus. They pretty much, when they come out, I think that now, since it's been a change, it's been a shift in paradigms, it's a shift in the movement. And I think that now, when you say it, since you got to realize so many years it hasn't been acceptable, so many years it hasn't been, tolerated, and so many has been looked down upon. I think right now there's a huge movement in the homosexual arena, and there's a huge move. And I think when you see it now, that when guys or girls come out and talk about their sexual preference, I think you see the media start to just jump on it. Why? Because it sells. Why? Because this is the world we live in. It's a very volatile world, very up and down. It's very, very volatile. And people they want to know. I think it's interesting.
But it's irrelevant. If I'm watching a basketball game, why should I know that the guy who's dunking the ball is someone who's a homosexual or heterosexual? Who cares? That stuff is irrelevant.
It is irrelevant, but here's the thing that you've got to realize where it's not irrelevant. It's irrelevant to that individual, because that individual has that right. That individual also has that right. So when he says, or he or she comes out, there's other people that said, wow, they stood up and they were courageous enough to do it. And so when you're saying what happened, it's not about you. And it's not about what you believe. It's not about what you want. That individual believes that when they come out, they have others that come out, and
now
then they start.
It's turned from a basketball game or a football game or a softball or baseball game to a who likes what or who's in love with what. Who cares I just want to see them score points.
I know that's what you want, but I'm telling you, the individuals that do come out, they believe that they're helping others. They're believing they're helping other athletes now come out and say, this is my sexual preference.
It's irrelevant to the game.
It's not irrelevant. It's irrelevant to you. It's irrelevant maybe to me. But for the homosexuals or gay or straight, different people, they want to know, because now it also has people say, you know what? If, for instance, let's use a guy like if a Michael Jordan status came out and said, you know what? Other guys would say, wow, well, you know what? I was homosexual too, and guys would, I'm gay, I'm straight, or whatever. They would come out. And now then it becomes acceptable. So when you're saying if it's irrelevant, no, it is relevant, because now other athletes are coming out because they were just waiting. They felt embarrassed. They knew that they'd get cut. Some people would get, now if I think the media is making so much stink about it, because now ownership, players, people can't say, oh, you're gay, so now I can cut you. And
but
now because
what?
It's going to
Fire, you spent 16 years on the field as a professional athlete. you've done Super Bowls, you've done all kinds of things. Would it matter if the quarterback that was throwing the ball came out and said, I'm homosexual or heterosexual? It wouldn't matter to me. The person knows how to play the game and plays it well. So why should we now convolute things by saying, oh, he likes this or he likes that? I could care less. I just want to see them play.
And I understand your point. I mean, to tell you kind of my position on it, I've known guys that are in the locker room that was, gay or homosexual and I didn't care. I agree. And I would take guys that didn't have relatives that are homosexual. And even though I'm a Christian, and even though that, my beliefs are, I still think it's up to that individual. I don't have any way to judge anyone. So even though my beliefs as a Christian is, I believe, I'm more man and woman and woman and man, and I believe traditionally, but I'm not the first. I'm not going to say, oh, you can't come out because you're homosexual. I think and I believe that they have a right, and I believe that they should come. I'm glad they're coming out, because whether my Christian beliefs whether I believe in God or religion, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them. It matters. It doesn't matter to me either. So now, if they decide to do that, I think it's good because now it's going to allow other people. Though I know we look at it and you're saying, "Wow, I just want to see the ball go in the hoop. I just want to see touchdown.
I just want to see a slam dunk. No, I want to see the quarterback throw the ball real far."
I get that, and I get that part of it. But I think that the other side that you have to, as a person that loves sports, you have to say, look, we don't know the burden and the agony for so many years that they're holding it in, and they think, and people feel, hey, if I can come out and do this, maybe I can help others that are like me, that are homosexual, they're lesbian. They will come out and feel okay. See, a lot of people, they hide their sexual preference because they don't feel, if they came out, they don't feel that people would accept them. And now I think that since this movement, now I think they're going to play better. They're going to feel more comfortable. They're going to be able to be exposed. And now I think there's been a huge move and a huge shift.
Doesn't it take the focus off of what we're there to watch them for? Hypothetical, there's a basketball game going on. The person plays awesome basketball. Him coming out saying he likes A or B, I could care less. Don't you think it takes the attention off of the game and onto that person now? Because on the court, in the stadium now, everybody's going to say, oh, that's the person who came out. There are people who say that all that was for was media generation. I heard something the other day saying that the person who came out was a B-lister, and they were looking for a new team, so they did this to gain popularity.
Yeah, and that could happen sometimes. People do certain things for popularity, for media attention, and I understand that. But I think my biggest deal, my whole issue, not even issue, my whole deal when you're talking about this, I see nothing wrong with people coming. I think that, here's the thing. I think that when you said the media makes a big frenzy, yes. My thing is, I think it's got to run its course. I think in a year, 2 years, it won't be, because now it's going to be secondary. I think right now it's a hot topic. I think that people are trying to push agendas.
Right.
And I really do. And I think that it's a hot topic, but I think that after this wears off, and now I think that you're starting to see a huge shift. After people are going to say, I'm gay, people are okay, back page. But right now, since the world we live in, it's a huge, drastic change, and especially in the sporting arena, it really hasn't been looked upon that athletes could be homosexual or gay or lesbian. And now all of a sudden it's been this huge push that people are coming out, and I think I think it's just the media. Right now it's media driven, because it's new.
Why? Why is that any different than a kid or someone else that's not in front of the camera coming out? This person did it specifically for media attention. So why are they even doing that? They're using their 10 seconds of fame to promote something, and I think promote themselves, because they were looking for a new team.
I agree, and
we're agreeing. Wow.
I agree that some do that. I don't believe all do that. I think that that's your perception, because I do not think that every athlete that is gay come out and say that they're gay to get attention. I strongly, I do not believe that to be true. I think that some do, so I agree to there, but I don't believe all. Now, the one thing that I think that to me that, you know, kind of switching gears but still staying in that spirit is when I see, you know, young kids, they believe that they're homosexual or gay. I have a hard time, and I wonder where this is going to go, you know, in the school system. When a little boy says that he believes that he's a girl, and he believes that, you know, he's more attracted to the same sex, do you send him, now they're saying, hey, and he wants to get a sex change, do you want a little boy going into the girls' bathroom and being exposed? So I think that it's going to be a lot of things that as in a society and as a country and as a world, we're going to really have to take some looks at.
Right, and an athlete who's in the center of the court, who has cameras facing him, coming out in an irrelevant topic, makes things worse. It muddies the waters. That's what it's doing. It's muddying the waters. When you have a stadium full of people that have paid a lot of money to go out there, let me give you a scenario. Michael Jordan, as great as he is and was, if he was in the middle of the court playing basketball and this happened at that time, people wouldn't focus on Michael Jordan. They would all be pointing to the other person and saying, oh, that's the guy who was in the media who came out. That's fine. But what I'm trying to say is it's irrelevant. They could like whoever they want to like. But why should we focus on that now? Who cares?
I don't think you and I are focusing on it. The media is focused on it. They take, if someone says, hey, they say, what's your sexual, I mean, you see the young girl that went to Baylor, and, you know, phenomenal basketball player. She's first pick in the draft. She, you know, very, very talented, 7-footer. She said Baylor, you know, didn't want her to talk about her sexual preference, and she's, you know, homosexual, lesbian. And so, but you got to realize though, when they do, when she's deciding to come out, it's not necessarily her, it's the media that is driving it. The girls on the team already knew that she was probably lesbian or homosexual. Her teammates and her coaches, they
were okay with it, right?
That's my point. But so I'm just saying, they share that, but then now the media takes it and makes a huge big spin, and then they just starts digging and trying to paint a picture that they want. So I don't think it's all the homosexual and the lesbian or people that are gay. I don't say that it's them. I think it's a movement, yes, but I think that the media and writers take it and just try to get every mile out of it. And that's where I really agree with you.
There is no facts whatsoever that said a couple of these players that came out had been harassed. There's no facts that said that they had been demoted. And so why even come out and put yourself in a situation where now you can be harassed or now you can be. It's wrong for people to harass and point fingers and stuff like that. But if it wasn't happening, why? Why do we have to even talk about this? I mean, for a while, social media was blowing up on this issue. There's nothing else to blow up. Kids are dying all around the world. Bombs are falling all around the world. And our media focuses on the sexual preference of an athlete. Come on, there's tons of other stuff out there they could have been covering. What do you have to say about that, Fire?
No, there is a lot of truth to what you're saying. And I don't think that necessarily, like I said again, I don't think necessarily the athletes are really focusing on that, the ones that are coming out. I think that a lot of them are coming out for a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging, and to tell others that it's okay. It's okay, to come out and say that I'm what my sexual preference is, because I know that there's some people out there that are hurting. And I think when you look at the athletes and you look at the platform that we are given, and you talk about the Michael Jordans and Jesse Owens and the great, Bruce Jenners, the great athletes, the Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali, all these great athletes, Larry Bird, all these guys that were out there, and they had a platform. And why do you see commercials like Mike? I want to be like Mike. Just do it, Nike, all the campaigns that they had with Larry Bird and Magic and all these different, Mary Lou Retton, the Olympic, skater and the, gymnast. Why? They all have a platform, and we all have a voice. And people want to know.
Because they were good players.
Sure. But guess what, though? it's no different than when you see good players on commercials with Nike, with
we could go another half hour on this
with
topic,
diabetes,
but we're
with
running
all
out
the
of
different
time.
deals. You're right, but so they have the platform, so that's why they come out. People come out because they have a platform and people are giving them that voice. That's the reason why they come out.
And when I see a basketball player or a football player and that person is a talented athlete, I'm watching them because they're playing the game. I could care less if they like this or they like that.
Why does nonprofit organizations such as like big places like United Way and all these different ones, they want athletes sometimes the ambassador, play 360, NFL. Why does
That could
Chrysler,
be another topic, but we are running out of
they
time
do that
this
because
week,
the
Fire.
people follow
So
athletes. So these athletes come out because they have a platform and they decide they want to give exposure to something that they believe in. So don't be disappointed because they wanted to give that exposure.
And the players are great players, and I watch them play, but
I think
some
it's over,
things
Ice.
are irrelevant.
It's over, Ice.
We're out of time, and
once
you're
again,
lucky. Next time,
once again,
we'll continue
Fire
this topic.
works
Ice has been all over this one. You have been watching the one and only Fire and Ice. I'm Ice, Sevag Tateosian.
And I'm Lorenzo Neal. Fire.
Thank you for watching this week. Tune in next week for a couple of other controversial topics where ice controls.